Hi everyone and welcome to the live stream. Just give me one moment while I bring it up on my computer so I can see all your comments. In the meantime, definitely let me know where you're from, what country you're from, where in your country you're from and all that. Hopefully it'll show up on my computer any second now. There it is. Okay, so I'm gonna get this loaded. And guys, today we're going over your questions that I asked you to ask me on one of my latest Instagram posts. And there's the volume, so I'm gonna turn that off. All right, guys, so let's see. Tell me where you're from. Say hello. Let's see who we got here. What countries do we have represented here tonight? Let's see here. No dabs today. We got USA here. Trinidad, USA again. Denver in the USA. UK. Okay, so we got Honduras. That's one I haven't seen before. Australia. USA, Michigan. Hey, what's up, man? Is it Hasib? I hope I'm pronouncing that right, from Australia. What's up? Costa Rica, Canada. All right, great. So as you guys know, I asked you to ask me some questions on Instagram, and I have them here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over some of the questions you guys asked me. I handpicked a few out, and then at the end of this, I'm going to open Q&A for you guys in the chat for any of you who didn't get a chance to either post on Instagram or whose question didn't really get answered. And as you guys know, I'm Dave from SimplySoccer, where we help you to improve your game and stand out on the pitch. We release videos every single day to help you do that. So if you are watching this, make sure you subscribe. We're going to get right into this with the first question, which is a really good one. Someone in West Brom, I hope you're in typical West Brom Albion fan. What's up, man, in England, in West Brom. So we're going over our first question from official underscore Sahir. What's up, man? Do you believe in luck, or do you believe that hard work produces opportunities? So this is a question I kind of touched upon in the last live stream, and I know you guys who watch my videos regularly know I'm a big believer in hard work over talent and over luck. And I really truly believe that you create your own luck. Like, the harder you work, it seems the more lucky you become. And I think for almost anyone who's successful players, the more they take the initiative, the more they work hard, the more consistent they are, the more momentum they build, the luckier they seem to be. So I don't know if I necessarily believe in good luck. I really do believe that if you do the right things, if you work hard, if you contact the right people, because a lot of people, will say you need to know people, and you definitely do, but, most of the people who know people went out and got to know those people, like coaches, like scouts, like agents, if it's something like that. So I definitely believe that hard work produces opportunity. And luck kind of comes after the hard work. It comes after the consistency. It comes after you've built all of the momentum. All right, so moving right along onto the second question, which is from Trinks18. What's the biggest difference between the levels of soccer from high school, from college, and professional? So what are different levels essentially from like youth to high school to college soccer to professional? Now, the answer is it depends. There are high schools that are head and shoulders above other high schools. There are college programs that are good, and then there's college programs that are really good. And then there's professional leagues, which are, they're still professional. And then there's the Premier League and La Liga and, the Italian Serie A and the German Bundesliga. So there is a huge gap, not only amongst, high school, college to professional. There's a huge gap between different high schools, different colleges, and different professional teams. But I'll tell you what the main thing that I'll kind of, in a general way, go over each one. So for high school, my high school was kind of average. We didn't really have an amazing team. It wasn't our main sport. So we didn't really have that great a team. I would say I got more out of club soccer by far than I ever did out of high school. And for those of you who are looking to play college or play at a higher level, club soccer is definitely the way to go. Do everything you can to get on a good club team, because they go to college showcase tournaments. They go to other tournaments. If you get yourself on a good one, you're going to win some of those tournaments, and you'll get the attention of coaches, and that's what you want to do. But with high school, really, a lot of players in high school, I would say, you can get away with just being talented and skillful and not as in shape. Where when you get to college, that's not going to fly. You need to be not only a good player, but you need to be someone who's in shape. You need to be a little more dedicated. Again, different programs, different things will happen, but you need to be in shape. You need to be fit. You need to be strong. It's a much more physical game from high school to college, much more physical, much more fast. It's faster than high school, at least for most high schools. So it's going to be a jump in that sense. It's not necessarily more technical. I didn't really come up against too many players who were more skillful in college, although there were players who were skillful, obviously, but they were kind of the same as high school. What I found is they could run for 90 minutes. They were strong on the ball. It's hard to get the ball off them. They're really fit. They tackle harder. They're going like shove you around. That's just gonna happen. And that was the biggest difference I noticed from high school to college soccer. Now, professional from the team I trained with for a little bit, and from players I know who are professional. Again, your physicals need to be. You can't be an unfit professional player. You could be coming off an injury, so that's one thing that could cause you to be unfit. But I don't think there are too many unfit professional soccer players. A friend of mine who is a pro, he's in incredible shape. He's really built as well. Not like overly built, but really solid, really muscular, and he can run forever. Like, he doesn't get tired. He doesn't. His legs don't get tired from running. He doesn't get winded. He's able to play 90 minutes pretty easily. He's played games that have gone for 120 minutes as a professional as well. And so, one of the big, huge differences on that jump is you need to be in peak physical condition. Now, it's not only that as well. College to pro, there are a lot more technical things. You need amazing first touch and ball control. You need to work on that area. You need to be able to do all of the foundation things really, really well. We're not even talking about like the top professionals, because those guys can do basically everything at almost a world-class level for most of them. So obviously there's a big difference between the lower tier professional levels and then like the Premier Leagues and the La Ligas, the Champions League. If any of you saw the amazing comeback by Barcelona against PSG, what a game that was, just to go off on a tangent right now. But there's huge differences. You don't get too many professionals who aren't committed. And for those of you who are aspiring to be professionals, or if you're aspiring to play college soccer, you need to get committed. You need to discipline yourself. You need to be committed to consistent practice. You need to do your research to figure out what is it you need to be doing, when you need to be doing it, when do you need rest, when should you be working out, what drills should you be doing. You can ask, for those of you who are on club teams and high school teams, you can ask your coaches if they know any colleges that you can get in contact with or anything they should be doing to prepare for college. So, it really does come down. It's a lot of dedication. I know a lot of you probably watch Become Elite's channel as well, and he plays in the second division of United States Soccer, which is the USL, which is a really, really good professional league. You see how much he works and how dedicated he is, how well he eats, how much he works out. That's the level of dedication and commitment you need to be able to play at that level if that's what you're aiming for. So Let's go on to the next one. And this one actually I really like. It's from Two Guns Boxing on Instagram. And it's, what's the 20% of what we should be doing that will give us 80% of the improvement? So for those of you who don't know what the Pareto principle is, it's basically the 80-20 rule, which says you get 80% of the results from 20% of the action. So it's ultimately saying that 80% of what you're doing usually isn't contributing towards your results, because a lot of us do what's called busy being busy, meaning we're doing things that look like work and seem like work and even feel like work, but isn't actually work. So in order to maximize our amount of improvement, we need to do what's called deliberate practice. Deliberate training is focusing on a specific thing, looking to get specific results, and being completely engaged when you're doing it. For example, have you ever found yourself training and you trained for an hour and a half, and it felt like you got a lot done, but in reality, you were just kind of messing about for an hour and a half? Well, you compare that to someone else who for an hour and a half was completely concentrated, engaged, and deliberate with their training. They knew exactly what they were working on. They had, all their drills listed out. They did them to 100% of their ability. There's a big difference between both of those strategies of training. Both went on for an hour and a half, but one got way more out of it than the other one. So when it comes to the 80-20 rule, you need to identify what is the 20% you're doing that's contributing the most, and then you need to double down on that. So look at your training and go, what is the training that's benefiting me the most? So maybe you go and you do a certain training or drills over here and you're noticing it's really improving your game, and then on closer inspection you see that you're doing these other drills and they're not really doing it for you. They're not really improving you. You don't really see much benefit from them. You've been doing them a while and nothing's coming out of them. That's kind of your 80% that isn't really contributing that much. So to really take advantage of your training and using the 80 to 20 80-20 rule, Pareto principle, is to simply identify what are those 20%, what is the 20% that you're doing that's contributing to your growth. Identify what it is, have clarity on what it is, and then double down on that. Keep doing that. Keep doing what's working, like whatever saying, like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So keep going with that. All right, let's move right on to the next one. Keep those questions going because we are gonna do your questions in here. So give me 1 sec here. All right, so from Instagram, I'm gonna butcher this name completely. Hrithik_Tamta. Who was your favorite soccer player? So we'll answer one of these kind of questions. My favorite soccer player growing up was Steven Gerrard. I'm a Liverpool fan for those of you who watch the channel quite often. Steven Gerrard was my footballing idol for a long time. Obviously, he retired not that long ago. So I don't even know who my favorite player. It would probably be another Liverpool player. I really like Adam Lallana, which would be, I know it sounds really weird because he's not exactly the elite footballer, but I love his work rate. I love how hard he has worked to get to the back there. I also love Philip Coutinho. And then there's like the standard players I like. Like I love watching Messi play. It's just mesmerizing to watch him play. It's magical. I love watching, high-level games. Like I watched the Champions League game with Barcelona and PSG. I love watching matches like that because the best players are on display, and I encourage you to do the same. You'll learn a lot from watching high-level games. So I don't really, since Steven Gerrard retired, I don't really have a favorite player. Some players I like Paulo Dybala, who plays for Juventus. I think he's a fantastic player. Obviously, there's the Messi and Ronaldo, but I'm guessing that's not the answer. Obviously, everyone has usually a favorite between the two. But yeah, I really like Paulo Dybala, Philip Coutinho, Eden Hazard's another great player to watch. But I would say right now, I really don't have a favorite after Gerrard retired. So he was my favorite growing up, though. Okay, so here's the question that's basically titled, someone said, dude, you look old. It's all in the beard, man. It's all in the beard. That's why it's there. Because if I shave this off, I look like I'm 15. So how to be confident when taking long shots is by pro_Maz_2004. And that's basically the title of this. So if you're watching this, I don't know if you are, and yes, I am a Liverpool fan for that, whoever asked. What brings confidence is competence. Once you practice your technique enough times, once you go out and practice enough times, and once you start hitting good shots and you recognize what a good shot feels like, what it looks like, and you know what it is, and you can start doing that over and over and over again, you'll have confidence in it. Because I can understand if your shooting's not great yet and you haven't really practiced it deliberately and you're in a match, you're going to be very reluctant to shoot. I can understand that. So what I would do is I have a lot of shooting videos on the channel. There's one called, I think I recommend this all the time, it's called How to Shoot a Soccer Ball with Power and Accuracy from Far, and that goes over the technique you need to be using in order to shoot properly. Once you know what the technique is, that's immediately going to boost your confidence because you know what you need to be doing. And then once you practice that enough and you get it right enough, that's going to immediately do it as well. Nothing will improve your confidence more than practicing something in the right way over and over and over again and getting good at it. Because if you have I'm sure many of you have a go-to move that you use in matches that you're very confident in doing. Probably because you've practiced it more than any other move. Okay, so what I would do to practice your shooting is use a wall. It's the best way to practice your shooting in my eyes. You just need one ball, a wall, and you just practice your technique, focusing on your technique over and over again. And why this is better than a net is because if you shoot against a net, you have to go chase the ball. Even if you take a bunch of balls, like sometimes I'll take 8 balls and shoot against net, I still, when I'm really focusing on my practice, want to do it against the wall because I can shoot it, get the ball back, shoot it again, get the ball back, shoot it again while working on my technique. So that's what you ultimately need to do if you want to gain confidence shooting in any form. It doesn't matter if it's finishing, whether it's shooting from distance, working on your technique. That to me is one of the best ways to be improving your shooting. So next, moving right along, we're going to answer a couple more of these and then we're going to answer your questions in the Q&A. Okay, so let's, let me actually scroll down so I can see this. Okay, so, from Instagram, the phrasing of all time asks, how many soccer biographies have you read and which one do you like the most? Surprisingly, for someone who reads a lot, I haven't read too many. I think I've read 3. I've read Steven Gerrard's, obviously, his old one, not his new one. I read King Kenny, which is about Kenny Dalglish. And then I read one, I don't think you guys have heard of this player. His name is, I think, Jimmy Johnstone. I read it a very long time ago. He was a very famous player for Rangers, Scottish international. So if anyone knows who Jimmy Johnstone is, please put it in the comments, because that would be amazing if someone actually else knows. He played a while ago, but I've read his biography, and I have to say King Kenny was my favorite one. I like the Gerrard one, but it was actually his old one, so it only covered up to his age of like 26, while King Kenny's covered up to all the way like 211, and while he was managing Liverpool as well. So that was a really good book. I want to read, I think Jose Mourinho has one. I want to read a lot of managers' biographies. Sir Alex Ferguson has one. I think Pep has one. If Jurgen Klopp has one, I want to read that. Trust me, that would be amazing. So next question is Valdez 16 asks, what made you decide to start Simply Soccer? So this is actually an interesting question, because I originally started a channel and that wasn't Simply Soccer, which I was gonna do because I was coming back from injury, and I just decided afterwards, why don't I, while I'm coming back from injury, I started making some videos. I started enjoying them. I was kind of like, I can't really train that much, but I can do this. I can still get involved with soccer. I can try and teach people. I can try and show them some of the things that I know. And it kind of just took off from there. I kind of fell in love with making the videos. It was awesome creating a community, getting players coming on the videos and learning stuff and them telling me their improvements. And, I was basically at that point like, what, I'm just going to, keep going with this, try and help as many players as I can, tell them what I know. Because I thought a lot of the advice out there when I started wasn't that great. And it was like, a lot of it, like when I was watching stuff, and there were good channels out when I started too, but there was no Become Elite when I started. There was no Will John when I started, and other really good YouTube channels that did soccer. There was Progressive Soccer out, I think, and that was like the only one I saw that I thought was really, really good. And, so I decided, what, maybe I'll make a few videos. I'll go over some of the stuff I learned in, college through playing all the years and see how it goes. And it just got such good feedback. I enjoyed making them. It was actually motivating me to get back from injury as well. So that's basically where it started. And from there, it just kind of perpetuated from there. And we've been going strong ever since. Okay. So Duke of Pasta. All right, Marco. If you're watching this, I'm not answering that question because you know the answer to that question. All right, guys, let's open up the Q&A. And yeah, guys, go follow Progressive Soccer Training as, sorry, I'm trying to read your name. Arianit, is that it? Go follow him because that's a fantastic channel. He has like over 200,000 subscribers, and so many videos you can go watch to improve your game. Like definitely look at the other YouTube channels here, guys. They're all here to help you. They're all here to try and help you improve as a player. Definitely, be learning from multiple sources. People have different ways of, presenting information and demonstrating things. So definitely don't just follow one person. Follow as many as you can. Okay, so we're gonna open it up to the Q&A on here. So I see one that, and guys, putting @SimplySoccer is good. Like you're doing here, that helps me. Okay, so how can you play faster on the football pitch and make faster, I'm assuming that's decisions. Is that Shaquille? Is that what it says? It's scrolled way too up. Shaquille, yeah, so how can you play faster on the football pitch and make faster decisions? One of the big things is you need to know what's going on around you. It's all about awareness, because one of the things that will make you play slow or panic and play too fast when you don't need to is when you have no idea what's going on. So you have no idea who's behind you. You have no idea to decide where are your teammates, where are your opponents. If you don't know that information and you need to figure it out in a split second, if you don't know that, you're going to get nervous, which will cause you usually to do one of two things. Actually, one of three things. One, you will play the ball way too fast, and could have had time to turn, and you had plenty of space, but you weren't aware of what's around you, so you panicked. Second is you'll take a terrible touch because you're nervous, and the ball will bounce off and someone will intercept it. Or third, you will turn right into a defender that's there. So you need to be aware of what's going on. There's actually a clip from one of my recent matches on Instagram where you can kind of see me do this, and it's such a simple thing to do, but you have to train it into your mind. Basically, you have to make it subconscious. You just need to do checks over your shoulder. You need to always be checking. If you want to see this in action, watch any video with Xavi in it from when he was playing at Barcelona, and just watch his head swivel all the time. He's moving into space, he'll swivel. He moves into more space, he'll swivel his head. He'll move into more. He'll look. That's why you ever see him turn away from someone and you go, how did he know he was there? Does he have eyes in the back of his head? No, he just keeps looking. It's really that simple. And then it comes down to, you got to get confident at it. You got to trust yourself, because even when you see someone coming, you could still be very nervous. I get that. And it happens to me occasionally where I'll know someone is about to close me down, and I'll still get a little nervous. But I'm much more confident when I know that person's closing me down, because then I can shield the ball, I can just play it right back. And by looking around you, by knowing what's available to you at all times, you know where your teammates are as well. That means if my teammate's over here, I could turn quickly and play him the ball if someone's kind of coming at me really quickly. So it really comes around, where is everyone? That's how you play faster. Now, if you have a poor touch, poor passing, and things like this, obviously you just need to practice those things so you can play faster in that way. Because if you have a bad touch and you have to take 3 touches when a better player would take 1, it's going to make it so that it takes you longer to do things. But one of the biggest things I've found is just your awareness of what's going on around you. If you can up your awareness, if you make yourself more aware of what's going on around you, all the way around, look at players like Paul Scholes, Xavi, Iniesta's good at this, Messi's really good at this, Mesut Ozil is good at this, although he's in pretty bad patch of form right now. They're good at doing this. They always look around. They always make sure they know what's there. And that's why no one can sneak up on them. That's why it's very rare that they don't know what's going on behind them. So that's the biggest thing. It's going to really calm your nerves when you know what's going on around you. Okay, so let's get to another question here. We answered that. Okay, here's a good question actually by PMB. It says, I play right back. When should I go up and when should I stay back? So I'm assuming you're talking about when should you overlap and when should you stay? When should you make that forward run to support the attack? And when should you play reserved and make sure that their winger or attacker doesn't exploit the space you left behind? Now this is tough, and I'm not a right back or a left back. I'm not defensive, so I'm just going to tell you what I've noticed from observing matches and other players who play this position. But really, first and foremost, you have to recognize, even though in today's game you are asked to be much more attacking, like in old days you were just pretty much tasked at defending, but in these days you are asked usually to bomb up and down the wing. You are a defender first. When I'm thinking of a team, I always want a defender over an attacker in right back. I always want someone who's going to put defense over attacking. You are a defender first, and then if you can get in the attack as an additional thing, that's great. And one thing I'll use a Liverpool example here. Let's look at Alberto Moreno. He's a left back, but James Milner is starting ahead of him. Why is that? Because James Milner is more disciplined. Alberto Moreno is an attacking left back, but he's not good at defense. I don't know, he doesn't seem that good at defense. He's out of position all the time. Like you said, he goes forward when he should not be going forward. And because of it, a dedicated left back is being outplayed by a player who never played left back in his career. So that's just to give you an example of left back is defense first, okay? You need to analyze each and every situation, and if it seems like you can get in the attack without there being danger of someone exploiting the space you're leaving behind, then that's okay. There will be many times when your team is loaded up in the other opposition's defensive third, where it's really compact, where they only have their striker up, and then you can probably get involved. You can overlap. When there's a lot of space for you to work with, you can overlap as well. Just recognize that you are a defender first, and an attacker second in this case. Because the last thing you want to do is keep making those runs every single play and to get caught in the counterattack, have your position exploited, then cross the ball in from where you're supposed to be and the other team scoring. So just recognize that. Think about Alberto Moreno next time you think you're supposed to be going down that wing every single time. You want to think defensively first. That's why Nathaniel Clyne is such a popular player at Liverpool, because he's really solid on defense, yet is still able to get into the attack, right? We want that defender first. But yeah, if you can get in the attack and support the attack as well, that's great as well. But just remember which one you should be doing first. Okay. Hold on. Let's see. How do I... Okay, how can I, PMB again, okay. So another question from you, how can I improve my long passing, crossing? It's one thing I can't get. So, this is a bit hard to explain. So I'm assuming you're talking about like cross-field balls, and obviously crossing, self-explanatory. I will be doing videos on both of these, so those will be coming out in the spring. It's actually snow on the ground right now where I am, so I can't really do them now. But yeah, we will definitely cover both of those things, crossing and long passing. Now with long passing, you can practice against a wall as well. Move yourself 30, 40, 50 yards away. You can go a little closer if you want and just practice hitting the wall in the air. You kind of want to, there's a few different techniques. There's like pinging it. There's grass cutter passes, but I'm assuming that's not the one you're talking about because you want to get some loft on it. And then there's like what I just call like a wedge pass where it's like you get a lot of height on it. So I can't really explain the techniques or how your foot's supposed to be right now because I can't get up and show you. But in the videos we're going to do in the future where we're going over long passing and crossing, I'll show you exactly how you should be striking the ball and everything like this. Now with your crossing, just like a bit of advice, you want to be aiming between the 6-yard box and the penalty spot most of the time. Obviously you want to get your head up and see where your teammates are and try and predict where they're going to make their runs and whip it into that space. But a good default cross is between the penalty spot and the 6-yard box with pace. So if you loft it into the 6-yard box, the keeper's going to get it. But if you put it in there with pace, you whip it in, you get it past that first man, that's going to be a dangerous ball that the defense is going to struggle to deal with. So, okay, next question. It's from Ibrahim Cisse, is that how you pronounce it? Is nutrition important in football, for football? It is 100% important. It is very, very, very important. And this is something that unfortunately I didn't learn until later when I was playing. Like I didn't do this in high school. I was pretty bad with this in college. And nutrition is incredibly important for a few reasons. One, if you eat poorly, you're going to have less energy. Less energy, less of good performance, bad performance. Two, good nutrition helps you recover faster. If you're doing the workouts that you're supposed to be doing, if you're training, if you're on a club team that's pretty dedicated and trains all the time, if you do weights, if you do exercises that break down your muscles, if you do interval training, you need to recover. And if you're not eating what you need to be eating, if you don't have good nutrition, if you're not eating foods that are giving you good nutritional value, you're not recovering at the rate you could be recovering, and you're not giving your body what it needs. So yes, nutrition is very important. Now, it doesn't have to be complicated. You know, there are many different nutritional plans you can look at. I like to eat small meals each and every day and then finish with like a bigger meal. So I have like a fairly small breakfast, usually like some kind of smoothie, so like a fruit smoothie. I put a little bit of protein in there. For lunch, I eat something with protein. I usually eat some kind of nut, like almonds or cashews, usually almonds. And I'll have another fruit, so orange, banana, apple. Then I'll eat sweet potatoes next. Sweet potatoes, by the way, guys, are some of the best carbohydrates you can. It's so good for you. It's like the best thing you can eat, I think, for carbohydrates. Because it's actually healthy for you, where regular potatoes aren't actually the best for you. But if you are looking to like get some carbohydrates in, I hope that's right, I'm pretty sure, you definitely want to be eating sweet potatoes. So good. So I eat those every day with another fruit. And then dinner is like the bigger meal, so it's always like some kind of good protein, so like chicken, fish, something like that. Usually like rice, again, the carb. Then maybe like red bell pepper is really good. Some other vegetables is good. Get some vegetables in, get some greens in. And that's basically my day. And then I might have another protein shake later, but I don't want to eat too late because kind of messes with your sleep. But just to kind of go over the point, it's very important for your success as a soccer player to be eating right, to be eating the right things. And again, there's so many resources that'll tell you how to do this. Again, there are YouTube channels that will show you. I don't think I've done a video on it because I'm honestly not a good authority on nutrition. I have my nutrition right, but I don't know all the terminology and jargon. So, you know, I wouldn't come across as an expert in that. And I don't think I'm the best person to be telling you. I can give you a general overview of it. But there are plenty of people who can give you like what you need to be eating. Okay? So let's see. All right, I'm gonna scroll down to. We're gonna do a few more questions, and then we'll say goodbye, and we'll do on the next live stream. What am I drinking? It's pure alcohol. It's water. Don't worry, it's water. Okay, here's a question I want to answer because, and you're welcome, PMB. I want to answer this because I get this comment all the time, and I'm going to make another video on this because I made one a long time ago, but no one's aware of it, and I have to keep linking it to people. And it's from Always Working. It says, in practice, I'm a lot more confident than I am in games, and I've tried your visualization for a bit and other stuff. Any tips? Do you think it could be lack of experience? So, well, to your question, could it be lack of experience? Absolutely. That could be one of the things. The more games you play, the more comfortable you get with playing, the more also you get used to playing, which means when certain things happen in matches, when certain opportunities or situations arise, if you've been in a lot of games, you will be used to dealing with those situations, if that makes sense. So experience, when like a commentator says, oh, they're bringing him on for his experience, he's played more matches, that's why. So like if they're looking to waste time, he knows how to do that. He knows how to keep a level head, and instead of go towards goal, go to the corner flag. If someone's trying to, tackle the ball from him, he may not try and beat them one-on-one, he may play it off them to get a throw in. There's a lot that goes into it. That's just a couple of silly examples, but, good examples. But yeah, playing in more matches will definitely help your confidence. If you haven't been playing, a lot of you may notice towards the beginning of the season, you're a little more nervous in your matches, and as the season goes along, you're getting more and more confident the more you're playing. That just comes down to the experience. Now, it's not the only thing. So I'm going to say, you said you did my visualization technique for a bit. See, that's the issue. You need to do it a little more than a bit. Any habit you're trying to create, any practice you're doing won't work if you do it for a bit. It's like if you worked out for a bit, you can't expect to get strong. If you practiced for a bit, how good do you really expect yourself to get? So it's the same with the visualization thing. Do it every day. Do it for 10 minutes every day if you really want that help. Visualizing yourself playing well, really immersing yourself in that, and see what it does. I challenge you to do it for 30 days. I think 30 days is a good, and that's why we do 30-day challenges. I think that's a good range to really show you the benefit of doing something every single day, and you'll build a lot of momentum doing that. Now, for you Always Working, there's a video I made about nervousness. If you go on the channel, go into videos, I forget the exact name of it, but it's like how to be confident and avoid nerves in soccer or something like that. Look up that video, and hopefully some of the advice I give in there will help you out, okay? So okay, I'm going to answer the one directly under that from High on Dimsy. It says, how can you be more comfortable on the ball overall? Like have good technical skills? Would it be good to focus on ball control more, juggling, first touch, or fast footwork drills? So like anything else that we've been going over, and I'm going to answer a couple more after this, like anything else, it's really going to come down by how much you practice, but not just how often you practice, how you are practicing. This is like the overlooked aspect of training, because, it's like if we go out and just practice our skills, well, what exactly did you do? How engaged were you? How much effort did you put in? Because I could go and say, yeah, I practiced my skills for an hour yesterday, but if I was only doing it at 30%, I'm not going to get much from that. If I was doing it at 50% of game pace, I'm not going to get much out of that. So if you want to become more comfortable in the ball overall, here's one drill I'll recommend, and it's simply using a wall to practice your passing, your ball control, and your technique. And if you're at a wall that's like concrete, like when I was younger, when I was a kid, we had a wall, so I was like 10, 11, 12, and I did this all the way until like I was 16, 17. I had a wall behind my house, and I would practice against it, kicking against it. I would practice my shots, my passing. I would practice my ball control, chest, thighs, feet. I would practice my skill moves because I was on concrete. It was good because the ball moved quickly. I had to move quickly as well, and that really improved my technical ability. I would just go out there, and I would, just kind of do all of these things and put on some music sometimes and do this. But the thing was, I was really focused on what I was doing. I wasn't thinking about school earlier. I wasn't thinking about what I'm going to do later. I wasn't thinking about, anything except, how do I do this move? How do I get better at controlling the ball in this way? How do I hit that target I've set on the wall? You know, so it's going to come down to stuff like that. If you really want to improve your comfortability on the ball, you need to have the ball at your feet often. You need to be going out and kicking against the wall or doing something that's getting you a lot of touches on the ball. The more quality touches you're getting on the ball, the more comfortable you will be with it. This is why I recommend for a lot of you is to dribble a ball around your house. Not like seriously, just like as you're walking through the house. Because it's just going to get you used to having a ball at your feet, which will allow you to be more comfortable with it. So I hope that makes sense. Ibrahim Sisi, I think I answered your question. I don't have a plan on making a nutrition video just because I think there are people who know a lot more about that than me. If I do a lot of research on it, and when I get to a point where I think I can adequately or more than adequately explain it in a way that would actually benefit people, then I might make a video on nutrition. But for now, I'm going to leave that up to other people who have been doing it much longer than me. Okay. All right, so here we go. Let's get a couple more questions. Whoops, what happened there? What happened there? Something happened there. Okay, a lot of things just disappeared. I keep putting my head down. Okay, another one by Shaquille is I keep playing with my head down sometimes. What can I do to stop that? Okay, here's the thing about, hold on. Okay, so here's the thing about playing with your head down. There seems to be this idea, I think what happens is a lot of young players by coaches are told, you gotta keep your head up. You gotta play with your head up. Yes and no. If you watch Messi when he's dribbling, I was just watching a video by Draxler, or not by Draxler, of Draxler. If you watch these players when they're dribbling, they're not looking up. They're not like this as they're dribbling. They're looking down. They're using their peripheral vision to see what is in their general vicinity, and then they are doing what they're doing. They're not looking up every single second. You can't do that. It's almost impossible. You need to be getting your head up constantly, but you're not doing it at all times. So basically what I want you to do is when you do not have the ball, look up as often as you can to see what's around you, like we've already gone over. And then when you have the ball, you can look up every now and then, but you need to be focused on what's going on around you. So you don't worry about keeping your head down. Don't have your head down like this. Like, you shouldn't be staring directly at the ball. You should be looking a little bit in front of you probably. But this is just like a thing that I don't know why. I guess players are just being taught, you gotta have your head up all the time. You really don't. And after you're done with this live stream, which will be finished soon, watch a video of Messi and watch his dribbling. Look at how he looks up every now and then, but looks down. Looks up, looks down. He's looking down a lot of the time. When he knows he has space around him, he may look up a little bit. But when he's engaged, someone's engaging him and trying to tackle him, he's not looking up. He's not looking at the next play. He's dealing with that moment right there. So you have to just recognize you don't need your head up all the time. Don't worry about that. Just get it up when you can so you can survey the field again. Because remember, the field's always changing. Always know what's going on around you. But if you're taking someone on, you're doing dribbling, don't worry about looking up to all the time. Really, you really don't have to. Okay, so here's what we'll do. I'm going to look at a few more questions. And we'll answer 2 more questions. And then we will call it a day. Okay, and we will be doing these live streams every Friday. Let me know if you want to have these on Friday at 7 or if you guys like the 3 p.m. time better. So I know for the future. Okay, so let's see. I just saw one that I liked. How do I improve my weak foot by Cool Jonathan at SimplySoccer. Again, like a lot of the answers to these questions, improving your weak side is going to come down to how much you practice on your weak side. Now, I know with your weak foot, it's really frustrating because when you have a dominant foot and you can do all kinds of things on your dominant side, and then you go and look at your other side, for me it's my left, and you can't do those things, it's really frustrating. So you go, screw it, I'll just use my right, I'll just use my dominant side. Why would I even use my weak side? Well, it's very important that you develop your weak side, because if a smart defender is going to learn very quickly that you are not good on one side, if you're not good on one side, and they will show you onto that side every single time. So what I suggest is you don't need to become just as good with your weak side as your dominant side. In fact, most players are not. Even the really, like Lionel Messi's not as good on his right as he is with the left. Neither is Ronaldo. Neither is Dybala. Neither was Zidane. Neither was, actually Pele might have been. Neither was Maradona. But the thing is, they could use it. They were competent with it. So with my left, I make sure I can do a few things. I make sure I can shoot and finish because I'm a striker and I'm expected to score goals, and I don't have time to shift the ball onto my right foot if it's on my left side. You only have a split second sometimes to shoot. So for me, I had to get my shooting good with it. I had to have a few skill moves to get myself out of trouble with it. I had to be able to dribble with it. So when you're practicing, the simplest thing to do is if you're practicing any amount of reps or sets of something with your dominant foot, do an equal amount with your weak side. So if you're practicing your shooting and you're doing 10 shots on net or whatever, do 10 shots with your other side, with your weak side. If you want to improve it even further and kind of progress quicker, do 5 more reps on your weaker side than your right. And you just got to keep doing this. And again, perseverance is going to pay off in this regard. You know, you don't have to, the problem is you're comparing your weak side to your strong side probably. And when you look at them, there's no comparison. Don't compare them. Just think of your weak side and go, how can I make it better today? And then tomorrow, how can I make it a little bit better? Work on small wins for your weak side. Just get it better and better gradually until you get to a point where you can actually use it and be competent with it. You know, it's not a complicated, it's a very simple idea. It's not easy, but it's simple. It's just going to come down to you practicing with it consistently. Let's do one more question. Let's see what we got here. Remember, I'm only really looking at the ones that say SimplySoccer. So make sure you're doing that because that just makes it easier. All right, here's a good one to end on. It's from Omar Sierra. At SimplySoccer, do you have any tips for mental toughness? Sorry for the all caps, but I think it's very important to learn as well. You are forgiven. Yes, mental toughness is incredibly important. You know, like I say all the time, mentality is such an important part of the game. Zlatan Ibrahimovic is one of the most famous footballers to say, you know, football is 50% physical, 50% mentality. And the way you work on your mentality, again, here's the problem I think with players and mentality and mental toughness, is they take a look at it and they think they should just have it. They think that they should just be mentally tough. They think that, oh, that guy who is mentally tough was just born that way. He was born with or just developed it in a way that I can't. Mentality and how you learn things mentally or how you become more mentally tough is in the same way you become good at like a step over or become good at finishing or become good at your ball control. You have to practice it consistently. I still have problems with my mental toughness sometimes. I get a little unnerved in matches sometimes, but I'm able to bring myself back because I practice the right mentalities in order to do that. So really what you need to do first and foremost is you got to not care what other people think. That's the big one I see, you know, players tripping up a lot. You know, I'll get a lot of questions about like, how do I stop my teammates screaming at me or something? Or how do I stop my, you know, parents yelling, whatever it is. You know, you got to just not care. I know that's such a, you know, simple thing to say, but you have to tune out the haters. I know that's a cliche thing to say, but you really do. The people who are the critics, all those people, if it's not constructive criticism, like there are people just insulting you, like, oh, you suck, oh, you're terrible. Maybe there's some opponent smack talking you. You have to tune that out and stay completely focused. Because if you allow that to affect you, you basically allowed them to win. They've done what they wanted to do. Like you're gonna come across opponents who try and get inside your head all the time, who are gonna tell you like, oh, that was, you know, you do something bad, they're gonna be like, oh, that was awful, man, you must suck, or whatever it may be. You have to tune it out. You have to tune out the haters because one, your opposition is going to do that in a tactical way. Two, you're going to come across people who are just completely negative, who have given up on their own dreams and ambitions and, you know, will do the same to you. They'll just bring you down. You got to tune them out, you know, and you just got to tune out anyone who's hating on you or is criticizing you in a non-constructive way. Remember, you have to separate criticism from constructive criticism because there will be people who try and help you who go, look, your shooting's not great right now. Try this. You know, don't tune them out. They're trying to help. But other criticism, you know, no one remembers the critics. Just think of it that way. No one remembers that person who said that you suck. No one remembered that person who said that, oh, Lionel Messi's over. He's past it. No one's going to remember that person who said, oh, Ronaldo's past it. But guess what? People will remember Messi. People are going to remember Ronaldo. The critics aren't the people who are remembered. So don't care. Tune them out as much as you can. That's number one. And that takes time. Look, I know I'm saying that. It takes time. It took me a long time. It takes professional players even a long time. And it will take a long time maybe for you. But you got to keep working at it. Just keep working it. Just say what you need to say to yourself to just ignore what they're saying. Remember who you want to be, what type of player you want to be. Remember why you're doing what you're doing. What's your why? I want to become the best player I can be. Maybe you want to become a pro, maybe whatever it is. And that's going to build your mental toughness. You think when someone smack talks Ibrahimovic, he really cares? He'll probably just smack talk him right back and then be as confident as ever as he goes off and scores a hat trick. You see, that's what you got to have. You have to have that mental toughness to tune people out. Second thing is you have to have the mental toughness to bounce back. This is incredibly important because this is something, again, that affected me. You have to have the toughness to be able to go and miss an opportunity and be fine with it. Not be like, okay, like, oh, I missed an opportunity, this is great, but like miss an opportunity and go, damn it, well, I'll get the next one. Because a problem I had, and I know a lot of players have this, they'll miss a chance, maybe an easy chance, and then they'll go, oh no, crap. They'll get really down on themselves and then they won't do anything else the whole game. They'll be so down and depressed on themselves that they won't do anything. So that's the second thing. You need to be able to bounce back and recognize that mistakes happen. You will make mistakes. I'm going to continue to make mistakes. Ronaldo's going to make mistakes. Messi's going to make mistakes. Maradona made mistakes. Pele made mistakes. Every single player makes mistakes. The difference between the players who go on to make it, become really good, play at a high level, is they move past the mistakes. They learn from them, but they move past them. And that's a part of mental toughness as well. You need to tell yourself that the only thing that happens is you win or you learn. That's a good way of looking at it. Instead of saying win or fail, say win or learn. Because, failure is seen as such a bad thing in today's society, but it's not. You have to fail to succeed. Same with soccer. You have to fail. You're going to lose matches before you win. You're gonna make mistakes before you get better. And if you're not making mistakes, it means you're not trying. Okay? So that's a couple of ways for mental toughness. And I do have videos on those, although actually they're very old, so I do need to make some more on mental toughness. But that's a great question. And guys, just to kind of give my last thoughts here, mental toughness is incredibly important. And if you're not working on your mental toughness, your mental side of the game, you need to start. Because you could be the most skillful player you know. You could be the most skillful player I've ever seen, or anyone's ever seen. You could be Messi level ability or potential. The problem is, if you don't have that mental toughness, you're never going to get to that level. It won't happen. Because you need to have that. If you don't have the mental toughness, you won't be consistent. You won't build the momentum. You won't be able to bounce back once you've had a bad game, a bad season, a bad couple of games, whatever it is. You need to have that ability to bounce back, and the best players are able to do it. They're the players who can go on goal droughts. I mean, think of the top strikers. They go on goal droughts. I mean, how much do you think that plays on their mind? I can tell you whenever I've gone a few games without a goal, it really starts to play in my mind, but I keep thinking to myself, I'm going to get a goal. I'm going to get a goal. I'm going to get a goal. But if I let that thought just fester and I kept saying to myself, I haven't scored, oh my God, oh no, they're going to drop me, they're going to put me on the bench, all this stuff, that's a lack of mental toughness. That's a bad mentality to have. I have to keep thinking I'm going to score, I'm going to score, I'm going to score. So you need to have that mental toughness and start working on it. I'm just going to answer this because is it too late for me to become a pro I'm 13 and I've been playing since 5? No, it's not too late at all. It's not too late at all. Just keep working hard, keep being consistent, and go from there. All right, guys, so that's going to be it for tonight. I want to thank you for tuning in. Thanks so much. Let me know if you like this time better than 3 p.m. Because it looks like a lot more of you are on here. So let me know, is this better? Is this allow you to watch it, or do you prefer 3 p.m.? Now remember, all of these live streams will be replayed on the channel. They'll be up on the channel, so if you do miss any, you can rewatch them. I want to thank you once again for tuning in. I really do appreciate you guys subscribing and liking the videos and watching the stuff and enjoying it. I am going to do another one of these next week. I will be putting a post up on Instagram again, so you can ask me your questions. So if you want one of your questions answered as part of the main topic, definitely ask on there. All right. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. I'm going to stand up and turn this off, which is going to be a bit weird because I have to go over to the phone. But I will see you guys later. And Barcelona did go to the quarterfinals. What a game. All right. See you guys later. If I can turn this off. Yes. Boom.